We have a squaring binomials homework. It says to find each product. We learned how to do this last unit. This is just a quick review. Let's remember that squaring something means multiplying it times itself. Negative 7b plus 4 squared means negative 7b times negative 7b plus 4. And we know how to multiply binomials from Algebra 1. We are going to distribute the negative 7b. Negative 7b times negative 7b is 49b squared minus 28b. And then the 4 is going to distribute. 4 times negative 7b is negative 28b. And 4 times 4 is 16. We can then combine like terms and get 49b squared minus 56b plus 16. Now you might be thinking to yourself, and you should be thinking to yourself, didn't we learn a square binomial shortcut? And the answer is, of course we did. And the shortcut, of course, is that the first one gets squared because it multiplies times itself. So negative 7b times negative 7b gets you 49b squared. This is how we use the shortcut. These get multiplied together because they get multiplied together, but it happens twice. And so when they get multiplied together, they multiply together. That's negative 28b, but it happens twice, so it gets doubled. Negative 28b plus negative 28b is negative 56b. And lastly, the 4 gets squared because that's what happens in the product. And so what we should remember to make this homework go quickly, and what I'm going to be using the rest of this homework, is that a plus b squared is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. You square the first one, multiply these two together, and then double it, and then square the last one. I think I'll do one fraction one, 2v minus 1/2 squared. Let's use the shortcut. We're going to square the first one. 2v squared means 2v times 2v. That's 4v squared. We're going to multiply these two together and double it. So negative 1/2 times 2v. Half of 2 is 1, and it's multiplying a negative times a positive, so that's a negative. Negative 1v doubled is negative 2v. And we're going to square the last one. Negative 1/2 times negative 1/2. For those of you who struggle with fraction skills, we just multiply straight across. It's a negative times a negative, which is a positive. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. So plus 1/4. So that's our one fraction one we'll do. I'd also like to do one that has a square root in it. It's not any harder. So we're going to square the first one. 6. Let's do a harder one. Let's do this one. This is good. We're going to square the first one. 4 squared is 16. Then we're going to multiply these two together. 4 times negative square root of n is 4 times negative square root of n is negative 4 square root of n, and it gets doubled, so it's minus 8 square root of n. And then we're going to square the last one. When you square a square root, we already know those are inverse operations, and so it's just going to cancel out the square root. A negative times a negative is a positive, and it's just plus n. Square root of n times square root of n gives you just n. Whenever you square a square root, it will cancel out. So there's our answer. And let's do one more with some multiple variables. Do number 20 here. Here we've got wx squared. When we square the first one, now we have a different property. We have wx times another wx. Well, that's pretty easy. Wx times wx is w squared, x squared. Then we're going to multiply these two together. Wx times negative yz is negative wxyz. Doubled is negative 2 wxyz. And finally, we're going to square the first one. So negative yz times negative yz is positive y squared z squared yz times yz, just like that first one, is y squared z squared. Or you could use the property that if you have a monomial that's being multiplied squared, that comes out to be a squared b squared. Notice that it's very different than when we're adding a binomial and squaring that. Hopefully that's helpful.